Okay, looks like I'm back. Okay, it's working, apparently. Hmm. Okay, somebody waved, I see. Okay, so sorry, it looks like we got disconnected. I don't know if it's my internet connection or my laptop, but there seems to be a problem. Hmm. I guess for the second time I will do this, I will use my phone. I don't know. But I tried to use the phone now, and YouTube is putting us some kind of restriction to do it by phone, and I need to wait for 24 hours, to get validated or something like this. So I have to do it by the laptop, and yeah, it seems to be a little bit clunky. I hope it's gonna work now. Sorry for those who got disconnected. Um, Hopefully you find this one now. And yeah, so I guess the first 20 minutes of the stream are gonna be lost, because this is gonna be automatically uploaded by YouTube. So I have no idea if we can kind of merge them back to one stream. I guess not. So what I will do is that I will try to go on with the questions. Um, and if we manage to go till the end, then I will answer back to those first ones. So, then the video will be complete with all my answers. And yeah, that will be it. So, yeah, if if this video works, then I will reintroduce the live ID here. It's 300 subs, first Q&A live I'm doing. That's also why it's a little bit messy, I guess. It's the first time I used the option, so I didn't know that I had to expect so much bugs with it, so much glitches. So yeah, I wanted to just thank all the people that have joined so far. And yeah, my channel is still very small, so each subscription means the world to me. It helps a lot, and the idea was just to thank you all by doing this stream and answering any question you may have about fitness or any topic about which I'm passionate about and have some knowledge about. So also philosophy, literature, finance, travels. Don't hesitate to ask them in the chat on the side of the video. I got some private ones. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep on with the questions. I was already at the fourth. So if this one goes well, I will answer back to the three first one a little bit faster, because now I know what is my answer. So okay, so quelle est l'erreur la plus fréquente que tu constates chez les débutants en sport? So what is the most common mistake you see in beginners? Wow, it's an interesting question, this one, because I can think of so many. And also define beginner, because from what I can see from my experience now at the gym, I can see that some guys lifting for 5 years sometimes are still kind of like beginners. they never really delved into the topic. Um, they just picked up, random kind of bro science myth and things like that, and they don't have, progressed that much. So in a way, even if they have been lifting for several years, you could argue they are still kind of beginners or early intermediate in their journey of mastering this thing. So that's one first thought. And what can lead you to that? Well, I think the one that strikes me the most is the lack of logs. So um, I guess it can depend on your culture, where you are from. But here, hello Pascal, thanks for joining. Here, I can see a lot of people not logging at all their training. So for me, it's not very surprising that they don't progress. It's a complex one. I think there are many reasons why people don't log. Um, when I was talking about people about it, they tend to answer that they like to do it by intuition, and they don't have the, let's say, the patience to log. It's too much work, too complicated, and they just like to go with the feel. But yeah, for me, the contrast between being in a gym and being able to put effort to lifting weights, and then being lazy about picking a pen and just writing a number, feels like it's probably not the real reason. And what I can also see from the people who don't log is that they tend to have a kind of coping mechanism and think that and say that they just go to the gym to more or less maintain what they have, uh, kind of just be toned and things like that. But they're also the people who go to the gym every day. Um, so, why putting so much time and effort to the gym and not try to progress? It's a bit of a shame, I would say. Um, so yeah, that might be the biggest mistake, I think. It can be also a mistake to try to log everything sometimes. Some exercises you would be maybe well inspired to, go a little bit bonkers in a way, and just do myo reps and cluster sets and things like that, and not be too attached to the paper or the phone on which you are logging your training. But for the most part, yeah, I think that's the biggest one. Um, not taking care enough of what is outside of the gym, I would say. So most people are aware that nutrition is a big thing, sleep is a big thing. All of these things are very important. But when you talk with them about it, you can see that they don't know much. They never really studied anything about nutrition, and so, some very basic things sometimes are lacking. So um, building muscle and becoming athletic is a tough thing. You need to reset as a whole system. It's also your mind. You cannot get jacked naturally without studying these kind of things. I would say, yeah, you can have newbie gains your first year, second year, um, and have a decent physique even without knowing too much. But if you want to maintain it long term, so not get tired, not get bored by the gym, and so I would say you need to progress to not get bored. then yeah, you need to study those things. So yeah, that would be the second biggest mistake I see that beginners do, maybe. There are so many. I will probably do a video about it because there are just so many. Over focusing on exercise selection and exercise, details about, how to how to put my feet and on a lift, and which angle should I use, which handle, and things like that, which are all interesting things to do, but they become more and more important as you become more and more advanced. But as a beginner, you would be better off focusing on trying to learn about your body, how it reacts to basic lifts, and yeah, that would be another one. There are just so many. Following too many influencers, and instead of trying to find your own way, is another big one. Yeah, I will probably make a video about it because I can feel there are probably tens of them. A question from Pascal. Can I build an insane physique without a gym? Probably yes. The thing is that it will take you more time. It makes me think of the whole debate about prisoners' workouts. That's a common topic that comes back time and time again about lifting. Is that, yeah, you don't need to do progressive overload and have a wide variety of exercises and things like that, because just look at prisoners getting jacked by doing hundreds of push-ups, hundreds of pull-ups, and yeah, it's true. But that's the point of a gym, is that you add resistance through weights and barbells and dumbbells and things, so that you don't have to spend your whole day training. That's the main difference. So you can get totally jacked without a gym and just doing body weight, for instance, but you need to spend much more time on it every day. When you go to the gym, it can be 1 hour, and you can do it 3 times a week, and you can get pretty jacked. So that would be my thought about it. Definitely possible. Like I said before we were interrupted, think about sprinting. Even just sprinting can get you jacked. So, I mean, with, of course, some time, but it's not comparable to the speed you can get jacked by having the luxury of having machines and weights. So, yeah. I see Pascal added something. I am jacked, but I have never been to a gym, and I have been training for over a year. I just want to know your opinion. If you've been training for a year without going to a gym, just doing body weight, it's definitely possible if you have done a lot of pull-ups, a lot of push-ups, and things like that, with probably pretty high volume. Good nutrition, good recovery, good genetics obviously can play a big role. Um, you can definitely have impressive physique after a year of body weight exercises, but it all depends on it's always very contextual. You have to think of all the things I just mentioned. Your genetics, for instance, if you have very good genetics, you're young and you eat well, you don't have a very stressful life, for instance, and yeah, definitely, yeah, I'm not surprised. That's definitely possible. But yeah, then again, that's the point of a gym. and dumbbells and weights in general is that then you don't have to spend that much time to get there. You add resistance, you do a progressive overload, and yeah, you can have the same results in less time. That's the idea. Okay. Yeah, no problem, Pascal. Thank you for asking a question. Don't hesitate to ask any others. That's my first live Q&A, so you have a lot of free room to ask your questions. I am black from West Africa, and I think I have good genetics. Yeah, probably. As far as I know, West Africa, you can have pretty good genetics. Uh, of course, these are generalities. Supposedly some parts of the world have better genetics than others. It's very noticeable statistically, but then you always have exceptions as well. So I will subscribe to your channel. Oh, thank you, Pascal. Thank you very much. If that's the first video you see from me, that's pretty funny. So I invite you to watch the few videos I have already uploaded. I'm still, a beginner at YouTube, but so far I enjoyed very much. It's tough. It takes much more time than I expected. But yeah, so far I had only interesting comments, interesting feedbacks. I enjoy editing videos, talking about all these things. So far so good. I weigh about 80 kilo and I'm 6 feet tall and I'm 19 years old. That's great. That's almost like me. 6 feet. I'm 6 feet as well. I'm 88 kilos, but I'm not 19 years old. So yeah, for a 19-year-old, that's good. That's good. Congrats. I do create fitness content too. I have about 8K subs on this channel. Wow, congrats. So you're more advanced than me on the YouTube game, on the YouTube curling game. So congrats about that as well, Pascal. I have a look at your channel as well. And yeah, thank you for passing by. If you have any other question, feel free. So yeah, in the chat, I don't see anybody else asking questions. So we go back to the questions I got in private. Quel est ton échauffement préféré avant une séance de sport? So what is your favorite warm-up before your session? I would say it's all dependent on your current training block, maybe. The frequency and the volume you're doing, which kind of specialization you're doing on which muscle. When I was training 4, 5, 6 days a week and doing quite a lot of triceps work, I was warming up much more my triceps with bands. And yeah, typically I would rely on bands to do that. I'm not very much fond of cardio before my session. I like to walk beforehand outside, so I get some fresh air, I get some sun. But yeah, I don't like spending too much time on treadmills and things like that at all. I prefer to do that outside. And when I warm up at the gym, I typically just do the empty bar of my first exercises, empty bar or just some fast pump work with cables, things like that. So it's already a little bit of useful volume, you could argue. And I'm actually training and warming up the very joints and in the very positions I'm going to use them. So for me, it's much more productive to warm up this way, because my whole body is already warmed up. I go to the gym after waking up already a few hours, so I'm not cold. My whole body is not cold when I arrive there. And yeah, basically for me, it's more about warming up the joints. And so just doing 1 or 2 sets with empty bar, lightweight. Maybe I do some ramp up sets, pyramid sets. So it depends a bit on the lift. Typically, for instance, for benching, I would do first, like fast speed bench, and then add like maybe just 50% of my 1 rep max, for instance, and do like 20, 30 reps, things like that. A question from Aline. When you've trained hard or traveled a lot, what meal makes you the happiest? Huh. Oh. I love food, so this one is tough. There are so many things I love to eat. When you've trained hard or traveled a lot. Well, mostly anything like meat-based usually is going to be among my favorites. I love burgers. This is for me the kind of meal I really look forward to. So that could be one. It could be like a very nice big dish of rice with cheese and like a nice piece of steak with a nice dessert as well. This one is tough because the question is, what meal makes you the happiest? So it's not, let's say, the most optimal one for gains, but yeah, as you can see, they kind of coincide in my case. So yeah, it would be that. I love pasta as well. I used to live by pasta before I got leaner. I used to be fat, I think, mostly because of pasta in my previous life. So that's for me a kind of comfort food as well. But I don't eat that much of it anymore. If you could train with any athlete in the world, who would it be? This one is tough as well. I would say maybe a previous Mr. Olympia. That would be quite cool. Training with Arnold. Yeah, I think this one is an easy one. Training with Arnold or training with Ronnie Coleman. That would be so epic. Frank Zane. Yeah, I guess those ones would be very cool to train with. Pascal, wow, you look like you are insanely jacked. Show us your physique. Well, it's evening. I'm a bit tired, but okay, I will just show my arms. I'm about 17 inches now. And I'm trying to get to 18. That's my next goal, one of my next goals when it comes to arms. Aline, I knew it. Okay, so it seems to work right now, this live chat. So I'm gonna keep going with the questions. We have 2 from Quentin here. So yeah, Quentin. Comment vérifier ma posture quand je suis loin du miroir? So how can I check my posture. Do you say posture in English? The way you are standing, basically. If you are standing right. When you're far from the mirror, well, the obvious answer would be to film, to record your training. But if it's not possible for you for, any reason, like in my case, my gym is very small. There are a lot of people around, so it's not very convenient at all. The angles also are not always making much sense when you can record. So, yeah, I would say try to record as much as you can when there is not too many people at the gym, and when it's an important lift for you as well. If you have like a bread and butter kind of lift, try to record that one, just to make sure that you don't, do it in a wrong way, even though it's like a base for you. Another thing, of course, is just to, I would say, be sensible with the weight you are using, because usually when you are, using too heavy loads, that's when your posture and your technique breaks down. So get used to maybe 70, 80% of your 1 rep max, especially when you are trying a new exercise. And also with time at the gym, I think you start to feel that your body feels right, a certain technique, a certain tempo and posture just feels natural. So yeah, that would be my answer. And the second question, comment manger plus de calories saines pour être en surplus? So how can I eat more healthy calories to be in a caloric surplus? So this one is about lean bulking, right? So how can you bulk and not look like a pig, right? So my advice here is always the same. It's whole milk all the way. It's time tested. If you are a hard gainer, if it's tough for you to eat a lot, whole milk is the way to go. You get a lot of calories, you get a lot of proteins, a lot of good fats. Preferably you can, try raw milk if you have access to it, if you have a farm close to your place, you trust the people as well to, to deal with it properly. Because of course the idea is that when milk started to be pasteurized, is that you kind of kill all the bacteria there, so you are sure you have no problem with your digestion, but you also kill all the good bacteria. And raw milk over time, it can really help you with your immune system as well. So I would say maybe try that if you can, slowly, incrementally, just to make sure that you don't have a reaction to it. But if it's not possible, or if you're a little bit afraid maybe of the bacteria, then just stick to whole milk from the supermarket. You will still get the benefit of the calories and the proteins. And yeah, there's a reason why this is the food that in nature turns something that is like this to something like that, or I don't know, like this, and even bigger. It's because it is basically what people call a superfood. Um, you can jug even liters of it if you're a very hard gainer. And yeah, so that's my first answer for sure. If you're lactose intolerant, then you have other strategies that you can add to the milk. If you can drink milk, you can also add what I'm going to say now, which is basically rice. Of course, rice is a well-known bulking food, very easy to eat, very easy to digest, compared to things like bread and pasta, especially if you're gluten intolerant, of course. Uh, so it's very easy to indulge in a lot of rice, and so you get a lot of calories from it, a lot of glycogen for your muscles. That's another one. Um, healthy fats, definitely. Nuts, all sorts of nuts. Like my favorites are pecan nuts and Brazil nuts. Those are the ones with the best omega 3 to omega 6 profile. You get more omega 3s, so less inflammation potentially. And yeah, you get also quite a lot of healthy fats with it, a lot of calories, magnesium. Uh, if you take pumpkin seeds have very high ratio of protein as well. So also quite caloric, of course. Very easy to have a lot of calories with that. If you take just even a handful of it, you have potentially hundreds of calories. If you like to kind of binge on it. So yeah, what did I say? Milk, rice, nuts. In other healthy fats, avocado, of course, if you like it. Olive oil. Olive oil can be a very good friend of yours. You can, put some on any kind of salad or on your rice. If you like the taste of it, extra virgin olive oil, very calorically dense as well, very healthy. And yeah, of course, the cheese. If you are lactose intolerant, cheese is also one of your best friends because the content in lactose is very low uh, in cheese compared to milk. So you get a lot of protein, a lot of healthy fats, and yeah, you don't get the problems of lactose. So yeah, one example of a very good bulking healthy food you could have, healthy meal, would be some rice with olive oil and maybe some parmigiano or pecorino mixed with it. That's something I do myself quite often with garlic. And then you will have your big glass of whole milk. You can use whole milk for your shakes, of course, if you don't want to drink it and have, just the taste of milk, if you're not very fond of it. Well, do your protein shakes with it. If you take 1 or 2 protein shakes per day, that's quite easily half a liter or even a liter of milk. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much it for that question. And yeah, about all these foods, there are also other properties, I didn't mention now, but they are just added benefits like anti inflammatory benefits, which indirectly can help you. Um, Another question. If fitness had a soundtrack, what song would be your anthem? mm, well, there are a lot of possible choices here. I would say the Power Rangers intro theme. I just love this thing. It's just, yeah, it's just so epic. So that would be that. Um, any other questions in the chat so far? Doesn't look like. Let me see. I'm gonna check on Instagram DMs because I also told uh, people they could ask there. So let me check. Yeah, I got some. Matt. Matt, what is he saying? Pas vraiment une question, et je voulais juste te dire que j'apprécie tes vidéos jusqu'à présent. Continue comme ça. Thank you very much. Yeah, so not really a question, but I just wanted to say I like your videos so far. Go on this way. Go on like that. Thank you very much, Matt. And another one. Yeah, cool. So I got quite a few questions for my first Q&A. Another one from Fred. Ce sont des notes de musique derrière toi. Es-tu un vrai barde? So, in English, are these music keys behind you? Are you a real bard? So, yeah, this I'm not quite sure these are supposed to be music keys because, yeah, it looks like a little bit like that, but it looks more like Corinthian columns, I believe, but made in a way that, you know, it's a bit fantaisiste, as we say in French. So maybe it's supposed to be a mix. But yeah, anyway, about being a bard and music, no, I'm not really a musician, so to speak. I like to sing a lot. I could play some piano, and that's basically it. But yeah, funny story, by the way, funny anecdote. The channel was created to host music videos. That's why you could see that it was created in 2012 on the page, I think, 2012, yeah. Because at that time, I think it's the first time I bought a big TV, and I just wanted to have classical music on it with some beautiful paintings, impressionist paintings. And at that time, it didn't really exist. When you think about it, yeah, it was still not really the beginning of YouTube, but yeah, it was just a few years old, I guess. So I just decided to make those videos myself, for myself, and I created the channel and posted a few videos, like some songs by Debussy, who is my favorite composer, Ravel as well, Eric Satie, and that's how the channel was born. And then I got like thousands of views on those videos. And so far, yeah, the channel is still, I think, considered to be a music channel, because when I go on a third-party website that gives statistics about channels, it's still ranking in music. So I'm not sure it was a so good idea to keep this channel to start posting fitness content. Time will tell. I suppose YouTube algorithm is clever enough to understand that now it's more of a fitness channel. But it's still ranking in music, strangely enough, even though I have already posted quite a lot of fitness content. So yeah, that's it for this question. Let's see if we have any other ones. No. So I will just answer back to the first questions I received, and we were interrupted because now it seems to work. So I will upload this video to the channel at the end. So yeah, the first question was, what is your favorite accessory for fitness when you are on holidays? And my answer was that, in short, I would say that on holidays, I would rather focus more on recovery and resting and enjoying my time. But if I want to just, let's say, train a little bit to maintain, or just because I enjoy it. Now I'm at that kind of mindset that I just kind of need to exert myself. So just doing some body weight exercises like push-ups, squats, other kind of things like that. Maybe a kettlebell could be easy to bring along. And like I said, I would probably bet also on rings if you want to do more advanced things and having a higher stimulus. But yeah, otherwise, I would just rely on body weight exercises, take advantage of that to bring another type of stimulus to the body. So higher reps, more pump work, and don't feel this pressure to keep with progressively add weights like at the gym. So that was my answer. And then, what is your secret to stay motivated long term? Yeah, this one was a bit longer. That's a shame we lost it. But yeah, my answer was basically, to stay motivated long term, I would bet on having a vision and knowledge. So not trying to just have a superficial kind of goal of just aesthetic and how you look, but just be aware of how important lifting is for your health, for your longevity, and longevity in good health, how muscle mass is correlated to staying healthy when you're 60, 70, 80, avoiding autoimmune diseases and becoming sedentary and not able to move and things like that. I started to lift because of that. I really discovered that there was this correlation between muscle mass and longevity in good health. And I just realized those years now that I have are probably still the best during which I can build a kind of muscle capital as a kind of investment, so to speak, for my later life health. And so that's very strong motivation for me, to the point that I wouldn't call it motivation. I call it knowledge. I just know that this is what I have to do. It just makes sense. Just like you shower every day, you brush your teeth every day. It's just you realize that you don't want the alternative, right? So it makes it very natural to train. And once you start lifting, it becomes addictive, and you get a real taste for effort and always pushing it further and further. So that was my answer. And yeah, also vision. So having a kind of vision of who you can become, having a kind of clear idea of what your physique and your life, your lifestyle, the way you feel, having a vision of what you can be thanks to fitness. This is also, I think, one of your best allies, to never feel like you need to be motivated by external factors, and have fitness as part of your life in a very natural way. So yeah, that was my answer to that question. And the last one, if you could only keep one exercise for the whole body, which one would it be? Yeah, so this one, as I said, I cannot really think of any exercise at the gym that could work the whole body. Like I said, even if you think of, sorry, my cat is messing around with the door. Maybe he will come by and you will see him. So what was I saying? Yeah, compound exercises. Come on. Compound exercises, compounds. Even if you think of the squat, the things like the pull-ups, things like that, they do work a lot of muscles, even the deadlift, but not all of them, and not your whole body. under, let's say, all the aspects of training. So my answer was that I would probably rely on sprinting, actually, or any kind of form of very high, or at least good intensity cardio, because then, yeah, you work also your cardiovascular system, and you do work your whole body when you run. If you look at athletic sprinters, they are really jacked just by sprinting. I guess they also do some form of resistance training, but it's not, I guess, what their whole daily routine looks like. They still probably mostly sprint. So sprinting is probably the best thing to, maximize having a great body and healthy and strong body outcome versus being only one activity, one kind of skill, let's say. So yeah, that was it for that question. And do we have any more? I don't see any more questions. So if you have one, ask it now, because I'm gonna end the stream pretty soon. I see it's already 45 minutes. So it went much better than I thought it would. I mean, yeah, I didn't expect it would be that long with so many questions. So thank you all, guys. Oh, yeah, we have another one. How to improve strength, bench press, squat, overhead press. What you focus on is what you get in life. So if you focus on being stronger and you do that, you know, with a reasonable approach, you don't try to rush it too much, you will get stronger. But yeah, you are talking now about the bench press, squat, overhead press, so big barbell exercises. The first thing I would like to maybe point here is that even with higher reps, you will get stronger. Don't think that you only need to do like 2, 3, 4 reps to work on your strength. Of course, it's a bit of, you could say, strength approach to do that. You will mostly work on your strength by doing so. But if you get strong even in the 10 or 15 rep range, and you just progressively overload in those rep ranges, adding weight every week or adding reps, you are getting stronger as well. So I would say what I would focus on would be to find a protocol that just suits you. And I mean that suits you, I mean it in a very broad way. I mean it psychologically. You should feel engaged, motivated to do those lifts. You shouldn't dislike them for any kind of reason, in a way. Or at the very least, you should feel excited about them. Because sometimes you can fear a little bit some exercises, but still feel excited by, beating the log. So I wouldn't say you shouldn't dislike them. Sometimes, you have to force yourself a bit as well, and go a little bit beyond your comfort zone, otherwise you don't grow. But yeah, you should feel excited about them, and they shouldn't feel like they hurt your joint, at least, for some reason, for some leverage reason or some technique reason. But then you can try to refine your technique. But that would be one of the first things you should, assess and have a kind of audit about, is that will you be able to follow the protocol, your strength protocol, on the long term or not? If for any reason you know from the start that one way of training, you're not gonna stick to it, that's the main condition of progress that you are, uh, putting at risk. So first make sure about that. So also choose lifts that you can easily have access to. If I don't know, if at your gym you know that the bench press is always busy, maybe do the Smith bench press, um, even though it's not the bench press itself, but the strength you will gain in the Smith bench will translate to the bench press. It's not that different. So that would be another thing I would like to underline here. Otherwise, when it comes to just the general framework of getting stronger, it's mostly about progressive overload. Just make sure that you try to push, I would say, each session, each workout, um, also be in touch, of course, with your body. If you feel that you're gonna be in danger one day because you didn't sleep a lot, uh, you have some kind of pain in your wrist or your elbow, don't try to push maybe too much for PR on that day. What matters the most, again, is consistency. So if you enjoy yourself, then you will, put a hold and maybe even possibly regress. So make sure you can stick to your plan, also by not injuring yourself. So focus on pushing, focus on progressive overload. Each session, try to, always be better, basically. And sometimes, some days it will not happen. It's okay. But as long as you go to the gym with a mentality of, I'm here to crush it, I'm here to lift better, to lift heavier, to become stronger as much as I can, and give it my whole uh, on each lift, and not even treat your other lifts like accessory. Treat every lift like, in a way, your results depend on it. And yeah, if you go with that kind of framework, I think you will do well and you will get stronger. I I focus more on hypertrophy personally, but I can tell you that I'm much stronger than when I started. So strength and hypertrophy, they go hand in hand. It's just a kind of different aspect of a similar process. It is true that you can see some guys who are very strong without much muscle mass, because of course strength is a more complex matter. In a way, you could say that hypertrophy is a little bit of a subset, because strength can also come from your nervous system adapting to a lift. It can come from also psychological aspects. Some people are just more able to push very hard. It can be also your leverages, your the quality of your tendons, your ligaments. If you have hypermobility, all of that enters into account about strength. So yeah, that's my thought about it. Thanks for the information, bro. By the way, where are you from? I've seen you for the first time on YouTube. Thanks, District. I don't know your name. Thank you very much. First time you see me, that's funny that it's on the live Q&A. So I invite you to go have a look at my other videos. Maybe you're from the US. Apparently, there are a lot of people from the US who have watched my videos so far, but I'm from Europe. And as you can tell by my outrageous accent, I guess, it's a French-speaking one. But yeah, maybe I will let the subscribers try to guess which ones, especially if I have French viewers. Would be interesting to see if people can spot me more precisely. What are some of the symptoms of overtraining? Oh, symptoms of overtraining. I think this one is pretty easy to answer. If you are overtrained, you will know it. As far as I know, overtraining is much more rare than people think. Our bodies are more resilient than we expect. And yeah, nowadays there's a lot of talk about fatigue and overtraining and junk volume, and trying to avoid as much as possible overtraining. And of course, recovery is very important. But yeah, overtraining, you would get like constant fatigue. You would feel like you are never recovered. You would feel drained, stressed. You would start waking up at night, feeling a kind of tension, basically, like a constant tension. I believe I was on the verge of being overtrained at some point, a few months in, when I started to lift, because I enjoyed it so much. I just wanted to train every day and give it my whole every day, and do a lot of volume with a lot of intensity as well. So I started to train like 4 or 5, and at some point 6 days, and I was still pretty much on a keto diet, basically almost no carbs. And at that time, yeah, I realized I had to reintroduce carbs and be a little bit more sensible, because I was starting to have very bad sleep. I started to feel little aches here and there. So yeah, I would say these are the signs. And you definitely feel that you're just doing too much. And if you don't feel that, then don't worry about it. Focus more on asking yourself the question, how can I push myself further, actually? I guess that's a more productive way to see it. We tend to always think, am I doing too much? Am I optimizing my recovery? But even though that's an important question to ask yourself, also don't forget the other side of the coin, which would be, how can I learn to be a lifter that pushes even more? What can I do to push even more? I hope it answers your question. I'm guessing Belgium. Maybe. Thank you very much. I appreciate your answers. So generally feeling more tired, low mood, waking up at night, etc. Yeah. Definitely those things, I would say. Um, those would be the typical signs, indeed. And also, yeah, if you start to see your numbers at the gym are stagnating, or you are even less strong, you start to have less reps, you have to put less weight, then yeah, that would be also a bad sign. You are still live. Yeah, I'm still live. That's great. I really enjoy it, I must say. It's a really nice format. It's already an hour and I just didn't see it passing by. It's very enjoyable to just get some questions and answer on the fly, and like share my thought process as well, instead of just preparing the video and trying to think already a little bit about the topic. I like this kind of more interactive way. So I guess I will do this maybe for each 100 subscribers I get. So try to bring some. Try to bring me 100 subscribers, and I will do another one pretty soon then. Okay, then. Do we have more questions? In the chat, I don't see any. I'm gonna check one last time on my DMs in Instagram. Mm-mm-mm. Where is Instagram? Oh yeah, here. No, no more questions apparently. I should bring you 100 subs. Yeah, yeah, definitely. But bring people who are interested in lifting. Uh, I'm not interested in. I guess yeah. I think it's possible to buy subscribers, like with some form of. They're like businesses that you pay, and then they have, like, I don't know, bots or some things like that to subscribe to your channel. But yeah, I'm not interested in that, obviously. Yeah, by the way, I don't know if you saw it in my post. Probably not then, but like I said, I'm also interested in things like philosophy, literature, finance, travels. So if you have any questions related to that, I'm also happy to discuss them. And yeah, I'll probably make some videos touching on those topics in one way or another at some point. Now I focus more on just fitness because I want the channel to be mostly about that. But probably it's just in my nature to probably approach it with a more philosophical way. So, what are your thoughts on Schopenhauer philosophy of the world as will and representation? Oh my God, that's an interesting one. So the philosophy game is on. My thought of Schopenhauer. I really like Nietzsche's take on Schopenhauer because it's both a take of, you could say, of course, a form of respect for his old master, and they have similarities, in the way they are a little bit cynical and things like that. But he also rejected him as a kind of, you know, he's not a role model. It's a bit sad to come to the conclusions he came to, Schopenhauer. And the way I see him is that he's part of what I would say is a very big current of Western philosophy that is realizing the absurd of the universe, and on the contrary of Eastern philosophies, being sad about it. So yeah, Schopenhauer was interested in Eastern philosophies because of this, um, let's say, spirituality of the void and things like that, realizing that there was no point to the universe. But our European and Western positions towards that usually tends to be despair. And that's what you can see in Schopenhauer. Whereas Nietzsche wanted to bring a message of hope about that. Nietzsche wanted to bring a kind of perspective that it's an opportunity to build something else, which is still a different approach from Eastern philosophies that say there's no point to the universe. Great. It can, it means it's just, a beautiful thing to live. So that's my thought on Schopenhauer in general. But I'm not like, expert on Schopenhauer. He's not the philosopher I explored the most. But he's in my, as you can see, sorry, I can kind of frame him in a kind of landscape and have an opinion about him. Finances. I have a problem saving money. Any advice? Oh, that's a wide one. A problem saving money. Something that can help you. I don't know if you ever thought about it, but for me, it's just kind of obvious. But whenever you think about buying something, and I mean really anything, even if it's crazy cheap, but it should be a kind of habit that comes to you, a kind of alarm ringing in your brain, is that you should ask yourself this question: do I need this thing? Do I really need this thing, or do I just want this thing? You can kind of put some grading to it, like, do I really want this thing? So that would be below needing. Or do I just enjoy maybe the idea of having this thing, but I don't really want it, but I just think I would enjoy having this thing. And the way I see it, when you really think through and through, you will realize that most of the things you want to spend your money on, they probably go very in this kind of scale of needing to want, and then just fancying the idea of maybe having this thing. So that would be an advice for saving money. um, Also, realizing how great it is to have you know financial independence and savings. If you are into being an independent person and you value your freedom a lot, then the idea of having financial means is probably more appealing to you, instead of just spending it and consuming. So that would be a more let's say general framework, I would say. But yeah, tell me if that resonates with you, if you believe that's helpful in any way. King Daleka. I thought you would like it. Thanks for answering. I like Schopenhauer, but many do find him negative, depressing. I like the theory of no free will, and of course, his other ideas. Yeah, yeah. I have read some of him, but long time ago. Yeah, of course, he's very enjoyable to read because he's subtle, he's cynical, um, negative, depressing. That's mostly, yeah, as far as I remember, when I was reading him. Um, it's more like his late life, right? The more depressing aspect. But yeah, he's definitely not. He's a bit like Choran, He's not like a philosopher of optimism. Definitely, I like this theory of no free will, and of course his other ideas. Yeah, I thought a lot when I was a teenager. I think the notion of free will uh, is probably one of the ones that puzzled me the most. And my idea about it was always that opposing free will to determinism, in English, determinism. Yeah, um, it never really made sense to me, because I think both are just true, and both can be true. And that's also, you could say, a very Nietzschean thing to say, that A and non-A are not specifically, they don't necessarily need to be incompatible, even though they are opposite. So I think you can imagine a world where every path, every possible path, so an infinity of paths, have been predetermined, but then you, as a human being, you will take many, bends and curves, and change directions. And that's in a way, you could say, a form of free will. I mean, if you go to the end of this logic, by the very fact that you have to live on Earth, you have been kind of enslaved in a certain way by fate. You have to live on Earth, right? Do you feel not free because of that? No. So it's a matter of perspective and level of magnification of your understanding of freedom and determinism, and also thinking in terms of like theoretical terms and practical terms. In theoretical terms, because I am a human in a human body on Earth, in a certain country, with a certain background, I am determined. I have no choice about that. Uh, Maybe my socio-economical background, all of these things I could not choose, and they, to a certain extent, determine me. But uh, does it make me not free whatsoever? And does it make me not feel free whatsoever? That's also a different topic here, like freedom, like actual freedom, and the perception of freedom. Does feeling free is enough to call yourself free, for instance? It's arguable, because after all, if you are in a cage of any form, but you don't realize it, for instance, and you believe you have the freedom to just roam in that big cage, and you never see the cage, you have always lived as a free person in a way. You just never realized that there was a cage around you. So of course it's a complex matter. It's one of those philosophical debates that have been running for centuries: free will, determinism. But yeah, the way I see it, you can solve it in a kind of way like that, by saying it can coexist even though it's opposite. And yeah, now I'm just sharing my my thoughts, like that spontaneously. But that will probably be an interesting video to explore a bit more, be a bit more precise. Because I'm also very much influenced by Eastern philosophies. There is a certain view of the universe as being a creative force that just enjoys things happening and exploring an infinity of things. And the question of whether this force uh, that is basically everywhere, um, already determining everything, it's questionable, I guess. But yeah, interesting question. Thank you very much. uh, let's see if there's a follow-up. Pascal, thanks. You're welcome. I like sharing about these kind of topics. If you think, by the way, that it would be cool to make videos like that on the channel, maybe not right now, because I guess I should um, try to develop it more around one topic. But yeah, don't hesitate to sometimes maybe put comments, or even here just say, if you like this kind of more outside of fitness content. Okay, do we have any more questions? I don't see any. I will check one last time on my DMs. If you have any more question, just ask it now, because there seems to be no other. So I guess I will end this first live streaming which went very well, I must say, besides the technical issue at the beginning. But I mean, thank you very much to all the people here who asked questions. I had no idea how this would go, because at this point I have not a lot of subscribers. I had no idea whether they would even just see this thing happening, and if they saw it happening, would they ask questions? So thank you very much to all of you. And yeah, I see no other questions, so I'm going to end the screen. Thank you again. I guess I will make another one at 400 subscribers. So like I said before, feel free to bring people to the channel. I think this will be automatically uploaded by YouTube, so you can rewatch the whole thing and all my answers. Are you live tomorrow? Ooh, no, tomorrow no. Tomorrow no. I have quite a lot of things to do in my life. It's pretty tough to upload weekly. I've done it so far. I've managed to upload every week at least a short video. But it takes quite a lot of time, YouTube, more than I expected. But I want to really stick to at least one video per week. And as you can see, the lives, we are already 1 hour 16 minutes in. It can be quite a lot of time as well, because I really enjoy this kind of interactions. So I guess I will not do it every day, otherwise I will not have time to do what I have to do and make other videos as well. But thank you for us. Good stream. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for asking, and it means you enjoyed it. So I'm very glad. I'm very happy you enjoyed it. And don't hesitate to connect to the next one then, and to check my next videos. And we try to make a little bit more long form content in the upcoming weeks, like more focused on specialization for certain muscles, for instance, or like really like fitness content, a bit longer videos. So stay tuned for that, and see you on the next one, guys. Thank you very much again. Bye.